Dear students, welcome to Impulse Masterclass. This program is designed for 10th class students. Myself, Gnana Krishna, senior faculty in physics. Currently, I am working in Impulse. Students, let's have a look at these two questions. This one is convex mirror, this one is concave mirror. First of all, you have to concentrate on these four important concepts. If outer surface, if it is polished, that is called concave mirror. In case if inner surface of the curved surface is silver polished, that is called convex mirror. The angle between the incident ray and the principal axis, if it is less than 10 degrees, those rays are said to be paraxial rays. If it is more than 10 degrees, those are called as marginal rays. So a paraxial ray which is parallel to principal axis, when it is incident on the spherical mirror, whether it is concave or convex, after reflection it will passing through certain point on the principal axis. Where it intersects on the principal axis, that point is called focus. That point focus to pole, that distance is called focal length. Let's derive the mirror formula to calculate the object distance or image distance or focal length of the spherical mirror. Now here I am considering concave mirror. This is called pole of the mirror. This is called focus. This is called center of curvature, and here I am assuming an object. Now from object to pole of the mirror, this one is called object distance, which is represented as u, and from center to pole of the mirror, which is called radius of curvature r. Already we know that the distance from focus to pole of the mirror is called f, focal length of the mirror. Now we are assuming one of the light ray which is coming from the object, and that light ray is incident on somewhere on spherical mirror. For example, let us consider this one. This one is called incident ray which is coming from the object, where it intersects here. This is called point of incidence A. Now at A I want to draw reflected ray where it is passing. Before you going to draw reflected ray where it is passing, first of all you have to draw the normal, because according to the law of reflection you know that angle of incidence is always equal to angle of reflection. So we already discussed that normal is always passing through center with respect to normal. That's why from this point of incidence you have to draw the normal first. Student, this is called normal. Now here this incident ray, this normal makes how much angle? Let it be I, which is called angle of incidence. Now what about the reflected ray? Reflected ray also makes same angle with respect to normal. That's why let us consider reflected ray is going like this between center and focus. Now here this one is called angle of reflection. These both are equal. So students, this one is incident ray, this one is the normal, this is the reflected ray. Now let us consider this incident ray makes an angle with the principal axis, let it be alpha. Normal makes some angle with the principal axis beta, and reflected ray makes an angle with the principal axis, let it be gamma. Just we are assuming that. And from this point A you have to draw a perpendicular line which intersects somewhere on the principal axis. That one assume let it be point B. Okay students, now you can see different shapes of triangles here. Now first of all let us consider this triangle from triangle OCA. From triangle OCA, if you consider at O interior angle is alpha, at A interior angle is I, at C exterior angle is beta. I think you know that one of the property of the triangle, interior angle summation is equal to exterior angle. That's why we can write down here beta is equal to alpha plus I we can write. Okay students. So because alpha comma I are the interior angles, beta is the exterior angle. From here I want to calculate angle of incidence. So I is equal to, I can write down here beta minus alpha. Okay students. And similarly let me consider one more triangle. What is that? C and this one let us consider, for example, D. C, D and A. So this one is C, this one is D, this one is A. Students, Here I am assuming the point D where reflected ray intersects on the principal axis. Of course, this one you can assume D, and also we can assume I also, because their only image is formed here. So here two pole of the mirror you have to consider as image distance V. So distance from pole to the object is object distance, distance from pole to the image is image distance, distance from pole to the center is radius of curvature, distance from pole to the focus is focal length. So everything we are measuring from pole of the mirror. That is the main thing you have to remember. Now come to the points. From triangle CDA, or we can take from triangle CIA. Here at C, interior angle is beta, at A, interior angle is R, and at D or I, exterior angle is gamma. So according to the property, what we can write down here, gamma is equal to beta plus R. From here, I want to calculate the angle of reflection. R is equal to, how much it is, gamma minus beta. So from these two triangles we are getting angle of incidence I is equal to beta minus alpha, and angle of reflection R is equal to gamma minus beta. Let us consider this one is equation number 1 and this one is equation number 2. We know that angle of incidence is always equal to angle of reflection. So here from equation number 1 I is angle of incidence, from equation number 2 R is angle of reflection, both are equal. Therefore from equations 1 and 2, angle of incidence is equal to angle of reflection. So we can write down here beta minus alpha is equal to gamma minus beta. From here we can write down 2 beta is equal to alpha plus gamma. So 2 beta is equal to alpha plus gamma we are getting. So from here we can write down here 2 into tan beta is equal to tan alpha plus tan gamma, so we can write down, because here alpha, beta and gamma are very small. Students, because I already told you here this light ray is paraxial, means less than 10 degrees, means here alpha is less than 10 degrees, means very small. If theta is very small, according to the property we know that tan theta is equal to theta, means theta is equal to tan theta. So here alpha, beta, gamma, all these three angles are very small. So tan alpha is equal to alpha, tan beta is equal to beta, tan gamma is equal to gamma. That's why instead of this beta I wrote here tan beta, instead of alpha I wrote here tan alpha, instead of gamma also considered tan gamma. So 2 tan alpha, 2 tan beta is equal to, I got here tan alpha plus tan gamma. Now conclude here at this position 2 into tan beta. What is tan beta? Look at the right angle triangle CBA. Students, look at here. This one is C, this one is B, this one is A. So from right angle triangle CBA, from right angle triangle CBA, what is tan beta? Okay, look at the right angle triangle, students, CBA. From this right angle triangle CBA, what is tan beta? Tan beta is nothing but opposite side by adjacent side. What is opposite side? AB. AB is the opposite side. What is adjacent side? CB. AB by CB. And similarly, consider another right angle triangle to calculate the alpha. Alpha is making an angle at the object. That's why let us consider here right angle triangle OBA. From right angle triangle OBA, we have to write down tan alpha is equal to, see, OBA. In this right angle triangle OBA, so we can write down tan alpha is equal to what? Again, opposite side is AB, but here adjacent side is OB. AB divided by OB. And last one more right angle triangle. Now here in this right angle triangle DBA, so consider DBA or IBA. I already told you this one is tan gamma. In this right angle triangle DBA, tan gamma is equal to opposite side by adjacent side. Opposite side is AB divided by adjacent side is DB or IB. DB or IB. Now we got individually what is tan alpha, tan beta and tan gamma from these right angle triangles. Now we have to substitute those tan alpha, tan beta and tan gamma at these positions. Now here tan beta first, that is equal to, we got AB by CB. is equal to, what is tan alpha? AB by OB. What is the tan gamma? AB by DB or IB. Here AB cancel out on both sides, 2 divided by CB. Students, look at here. CB nothing but what? Center to B. Actually, students, here when you're drawing a perpendicular line from A to B, that position B is almost nearer to B. I mean, this distance B to P is very negligible, almost zero. That means you have to keep in your mind B is also, we can assume as P, both are same. So very negligible distance. That means you can take here 2 by CB as CP and 1 by OB as 1 by OP and 1 by DB as here DP. So we can conclude finally here 2 by C to P. I already told you center to pole, the distance is called radius of curvature. So that means you can take here 2 by R, which is equal to 1 by O to P. O is object, P is the pole, object to the pole, which is called object distance, which is represented as U, plus dP. D nothing but image. So image to pole is called image distance. So we can represent this one as V. So we got here 2 by R is equal to 1 by U plus 1 by V. So here this one we can rearrange as 1 by R by 2 is equal to 1 by V plus 1 by U. Okay, 2 by R we can rearrange as 1 by R by 2 is equal to 1 by V plus 1 by U. So as you know that in 10th class, focal length of the mirror is equal to R by 2, right? So from here we can conclude that 1 by F is equal to 1 by V plus 1 by U. So this is the mirror formula. We are going to use it to calculate the image distance, or whether it is object distance or it is focal length of the mirror. But before going to calculate anything else based on the spherical mirror, must and should you have to know that about the sign conventions. And also this formula not only applicable for concave mirror, even the same formula applicable for convex mirror also. While solving this, we consider two principles. One is when theta is very small, tan theta is equal to theta, and second one, because of the small angles B to P, I mean the distance between B and P, BP is very negligible. Students, I hope you enjoy the masterclass. See you in the next class. Thank you all.